Hello and welcome to the SOMAmetrics High Growth Best Practices series on sales and marketing. My name is Eskinder Assefa, co-founder of SOMAmetrics, a revenue-focused B2B content marketing agency. In this episode, we'll be presenting a framework for the first of four critical areas of high growth, high quality pipeline development. We will first define what a high quality pipeline is, and then discuss the 5 building blocks, and then we'll see it work in action. So let's start by defining what a high quality pipeline is. At SOMAmetrics, we consider a high quality lead to be well-informed, highly motivated to act now and not later, capable of influencing or making a buying decision themselves and finding the budget for it. And at SOMAmetrics, we strongly believe that it is the quality of the leads in the pipeline and not the number of leads in it that determine the real value of the pipeline. So the first thing we think about is that marketing and sales is one continuum in the minds of the buyer. The buyer makes a journey that starts from marketing and ends in sales. And that journey begins with some identification of a need or a problem, and then the researching and looking for potential solutions for this problem, then finding something and maybe even filling out a contact information to download some assets, thereby giving their contact information. And so receiving emails with additional, you may be interested in this assets, and going through that in a few more times and repeat until they decide to meet with a sales rep by clicking on a button that says schedule a meeting, for example. And starts a discussion with a sales rep, sees some presentations, maybe demos, etc., involves others, obtains proposals and pricing at some point. And then it evolves into a serious evaluation of that vendor, potential vendor, and maybe even going into a contract negotiation, procurement process until they become a customer. So this is one continuum from the perspective of the buyer and should be designed with sales and marketing working together. So now we're going to look at how this one continuum is designed and what the different building blocks look like. So the first one is a very clear understanding of the prospects, to know them intimately. This is a critical step because without that knowledge, nothing much can happen after that. At least it will not work very effectively, and a lot of resources and time has to be spent to acquire customers. The whole thing about marketing is changing minds. We are trying to change a person into trying or doing something that is risky for them to do, something different. So unless we really understand them and know them, it's going to be very hard to convince them to try something different. So with that knowledge, now we can build that compelling value prop that will actually lead them to change their minds about something and try something different. And a compelling value prop quickly tells prospects what your solution does, by how much, and why that is a game changer for them. That is the reason they may be intrigued and want to know more. So that has to be backed with some kind of convincing evidence, because now that we got their attention and their interest, they want to do some due diligence before bringing us to the rest of the company. They're checking us out at this point, and our job as marketers is to make it as easy for them to complete this phase quickly. That is, to find as much information as they can digitally on mobile before even talking to somebody, so that they would want to talk to somebody. So we have the asset, we have the compelling value prop, we understand our prospects. Now we're ready to build our pipeline. And for various reasons today, we can't just purchase a list and start, blasting emails out. It's illegal in Europe due to GDPR. In the US, it's becoming illegal in many states to send email to those who have not consented to receiving one. And so the best way to acquire contacts is to bring them to you inbound. In other words, whether it's through SEO or SEM, social media marketing, attending events, whatever the different ways of bringing them close to you, it is to bring them using your assets to attract them and then nurturing them into conversation ready leads, which is the final component of building a quality pipeline. So the whole goal is to produce conversation ready leads, individuals that are ready to talk to sales. And from a marketing perspective, it is the most measurable metric for a CEO. In terms of a return on investment, that is the metric that actually is easily identifiable as a return. In other words, people who are ready to talk to sales, most of them are going to end up on the sales pipeline, and some are actually going to end up in the funnel, which means something that would close in this quarter. So they turn into revenue. And it's easy to say, we spend this much money and we generated this much revenue. If we turn in MQLs, that's a different story. So let's take a look at how a high quality pipeline works. So let's look at a case study of Gemma, who's a VP of customer success in a mid-sized tech company. That would be our key persona. And her CEO has told her that she must cut customer churn by 50% by the end of the year. So that's what she must do, but she does not yet know how best to do that. She has some ideas, but she wants to be more informed on this, and she starts researching, Googling, etc., and lands on a few places that look promising. She fills out contact info, her landing page, downloads some assets, and starts reading them. A couple of them look more promising. For example, one is a learning management system and indicates that those who go through certain courses of learning how to use a product tend to know how to use the product better and therefore are more likely to continue using it, to get better results out of it, recommending it to friends, and therefore more likely to renew at renewal time, and so cut down the churn. Another one provides tools where they could examine the kinds of tickets that are created by customers, look at patterns, and make recommendations on issues that need to be resolved so that less and less customers are frustrated from them, thereby improving retention and reducing churn. So she has a couple of options. One asks her to fill out a form and contact us page and say, we'll get back to you. Another one lets her click on a button, schedule a meeting where she can directly pick a date that works for her, and then she just on that date sees a sales rep. So making it easy for our prospects to find information, to use that information, and then to be able to get on the calendar to talk to one of our sales reps is, in my opinion, the real job of marketing in this current era. So as we said, this is a framework, and the next episodes will go into more practical application of each one of the building blocks we discussed. So the first one is going to be, how do we learn the most about our prospects? How do we define the key personas? And then how do we develop those personas and do more research on them until we have a clear, identifiable description of each one so that we can develop the value prop and all the other building blocks that come after that. Until then, you can check out more resources under SOMAmetrics, blogs, case studies, guides, white papers, and so forth. And we will post one learning episode every week. So please come back and check us out again. It was great talking to you. Have a great rest of your day.